Hello, family. Good afternoon to you folks. How you doing? Great to be back with you, eh? It's George once again. All right. So today we conclude our series on paradigms, and this is part 2 of it. And you recall yesterday we defined what paradigms are, and we said today we'll talk about how do we change our paradigms. Okay, so we'll be spending the next 8 or so minutes talking about that. All right. Okay. So what were paradigms? What we said yesterday was the multitude of habits that are resident in your subconscious mind, which you have accumulated over the period of time and are literally your belief system. Okay. And we said with time, effort, and patience, one can change this. Okay. And it doesn't matter how they got there, whether they are inherited or acquired some other way. The fact is that your paradigms exist, and that's who you are currently. Okay. And remember what was also said, that when you arrived, when you were born, your subconscious mind was wide open, and it literally gobbled up all the information that was fed into it. And some of it, most of it, became ingrained as you. You accepted as gospel truth whatever was fed into you. And remember, even at that stage, your conscious mind isn't really, you're not really exercising it. Your subconscious mind is pretty dominant and taking everything in. Okay, so some kids, for instance, I know some kids who can speak 4, 5 languages, and they don't really have a choice, but they grow up in an environment where they pick languages up so easily, so quickly. And obviously, when they grow up, it's going to be a much more difficult task. But at that age, you just gobble and absorb everything, right? Okay, and I remember myself, as an example, when I was growing up, somebody planted an idea of being a lawyer way back when probably 5 or 6 years old. And I just hung on to it and stuck to it. It was, that's what I was going to be. And I would use that to defend people, to defend my dad, who was always being arrested. And literally that became me. And in khaki shorts, no shoes, I would stand up there and tell everybody that I'm going to be a lawyer. And of course, my sisters would roll on the ground and laugh. Just, what are you? Never in a million years. In the end, they actually made a concession. They said, all right, you will be a lawyer at the marketplace. There was a market there where they sold chickens and goats and stuff. And I said, watch me now. Well, years later, I actually did become a lawyer. But it was because that was ingrained at an early stage. It literally became me. So what happens then when you identify ideas that you don't like? Things that are affecting you and that you don't like them. They're giving you negative results. Okay. So remember, some time ago we talked about the laws of the universe. And we talked about the law of polarity. And we said that the law of polarity states that everything that exists has an equal and exact opposite. And in fact, sometimes it is called the law of opposites. So for anything to exist, there has to be an equal and exact opposite, right? So, for example, for you to experience sadness, you must have an idea of what happiness is all about, right? For it to have an up, there must be a down. For an inside, there must be an outside, right? So there's opposites. Love and hate. And in fact, early in my career, that we had at the magistrate's court on every Friday, there would be weddings where people would come and get in their gowns and they would get married and flowers, etc., etc. And the passion that you saw in these people as they exercise this their rights to get married, I mean, it was passion. But fast forward years later, I moved into practice and some of those people were getting divorced. And the same passion that you saw then is being exercised in the other way and as hate. And so love and hate, that's an opposite. And there are two known ways to permanently change ideas that are lodged in your subconscious mind, right? One way is through shock, and it's called emotional impact. This is a real bang, something that's negative. An accident, a car accident, 9/11, for instance. That was a bang that hit everyone across the world. That's one way of changing things. But the other way is repetition. Over and over and over and over again. Called constant spaced repetition. So you read the same thing, you write the same thing over and over and over again. Okay. Eventually, the new program will make the old one obsolete. Okay? So logically, this doesn't make sense. Doing things the same over. But you eventually do it anyway because you want to achieve a goal. So studies indicate that it takes 63 days or 3 cycles of 21 days to break down a habit and literally entrench it. All right? To literally, as I said earlier, I think last week I said that Dr. Caroline Leaf has got a good piece on this concept. So remember, paradigms control behavior, right? And behavior produces results, okay? Paradigms control behavior and behavior produces results. So how do we change a paradigm? So first you observe a result you don't want. You write it down on a sheet of paper. Let's take an example that you're a salesperson and your sales are not quite where you want them to be. And that's a negative. So you write a full description of that negative, right? And then take another sheet of paper and ask yourself, what will the polar opposite of this be? So in your world, your polar opposite might be whatever exceptional number that you're looking at. And that's what you write down. So in writing down the result you don't want, you must do so in full detail. Really, you must see this result in the eye of your mind. What you want, where you want to go. That's what you must write down. Now, take the other sheet of paper and literally burn it. That paper you don't want with the negative result. Burn it, shred it, do something to it that would get rid of it. Some time ago we had a session and we talked about how the mind thinks in pictures, right? And so when you literally burn this thing or shred it, you say it's the picture that you're really sending in your mind. And that's symbolic, but that's wrong. That you're getting rid of this thing. And it sounds crazy, all right? But do it anyway. It's symbolic. Now here's the part that's really illogical. Yeah, for most people, this is going to be illogical. But so take the piece of paper with the positive that you want and rewrite that positive over and over and over and over, 100 times or even more. Keep writing it down. It sounds silly. It really does. But doing it anyway. Do it anyway. Remember what we said, how your paradigm came into being. It is over and over and over stuff that was fed into you. So you want to go over and over and over to get rid of it. So slowly you will begin to see a change. All right? If you do it over and enough, in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, as you drive your car, you're doing this, you're repeating this thing, record it. If you want. Record the result you want and play it over and over and over and over. Soon enough, this will be replaced. This will replace the offending paradigm, and the new positive one will come into being. All right? But pick one habit at a time. Don't try and change 7 things at the same time. Do the one habit, repeat the exercise until you change all the negative one. So change your paradigm one at a time and change the results in your life. You can do it with many of the things results that you don't want in your life. Now, I thought I would share this story with you. Last night I had a coaching session, and a client was telling me about the results they are getting through thinking into results, and how by doing what you and I are describing to you as silly, by doing that over and over religiously and patiently, they have actually seen their behavior, and they're seeing positive results in their life. I thought I would share that with you because it is powerful for someone to actually experience that, having gone through the exercise. See, corporations, your business, also have paradigms, and we call that culture. And it is a paradigm. And when you join an organization, like I said, pretty soon you adopt the way people think within that organization. You adopt their culture. Now, nothing wrong with this if the results are positive. So you adopt their culture, and there's nothing wrong with that. But to improve the results, you must now change paradigms. So, for instance, you have a sales team that's habitually getting below par sales. And so what you would do is you would get the team to identify non-productive habits that the team does, and which you can get rid of or should get rid of. So, for instance, one of the one that I've seen in most organizations is meetings. Sales guys must be out selling. Is on the phone, out in the field. They should be selling. So if they're engaging in meeting after meeting after meeting because it's what we do here, then there's a problem. And so that might be something that you do. And so you drill it into the whole team that this is the way we're going to do things now. And each and every one of them must buy into that. And when you do that, you will actually find that you begin to make changes and achieve the results that you do, writing the negatives, writing the positives, and talking in the present tense of what your sales are now. And everybody singing from the same hymn sheet as we all hear. Okay, so improving habits and changing paradigms will have a positive effect in all areas of your life, not just your work life. Not just your work life. I talk about the sales team. So each salesman in that team, when sales are not going great, when things are not happening, has an unhappy family life. Gets home, is unhappy, is mourning, is groaning about it. Flip that, and they're beginning to get positive results in theirs at work. That translates into a happy family life. So by changing the one negative, it has a kind of domino effect, on other aspect of your life. All right. All right. So it can be done on an individual basis, and it can be done on as a team. Okay, so that's how you change paradigms. It's not rocket science, but it's the discipline of doing that and being prepared to do what might appear silly over and over, understanding that you got to where you are by virtue of the same process. You're simply doing a reverse. Everything was drip, drip, drip into you. Now you're drip, drip, drip out until the new program makes the old program obsolete. All right. Listen, I hope it's making sense for somebody there, and give it a shot. You'll be glad you did. All right. All right. So that's how we end our series on paradigms. I said tomorrow we're going to be talking about aligning your beliefs with your behavior. Very critical if you're going to move ahead and be successful in what you do in life. Okay. All right. Stay positive now and really, truly be good. I had a chat this morning with somebody and said, what do you do, what you do? And I said, no, it's really help somebody. And so when I get a story like I got from last night about somebody actually changing their lives following what we talk about, that's what we want. We want to help you become the best version of you. And I know all of you out there can become better. All right. Okay. Cheers now. Take good care of yourselves, and we will be back tomorrow. Bye-bye now.